What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got another edition of The Drive-In where I watch recently released films and tell you guys whether they're worth watching, worth waiting for, or worth skipping altogether. Today is one of my favorite things because I get to do something that I don't get to do often enough on this channel. Being an indie creator myself, I love to review other indie films, especially indie shorts, because they don't often get the full amount of coverage they deserve, and I've got the chance to do one today. I'm talking about a brand new release, 2024's just completed, Martian Massacre. This is the directorial debut of Morgan Thompson Millam. Hope that I'm saying that right. If you guys watch indie horror, especially local indie horror, you have seen Morgan Thompson Millam in many different things. I don't have 45 minutes to review all of Morgan's titles that she's worked on in this video, but Morgan has done a ton of things in terms of the whole Final Girl, Scream Queen, B-movie horror, lots of gore, lots of Final Girls, lots of really cool roles that I've had the privilege of reviewing a bunch of myself personally. Just off the top of my head, in the last 6 months for pophorror.com, I've reviewed things like Triple Xmas, like Debbie Does Demons, like Disremembered. Morgan has been in all of those and is a phenomenal actress and seems like a really cool person. So when she had mentioned that she had a short film that was ready to be taken to pressers and being reviewed, I was excited to check that one out. This thing runs 15 minutes and it is a really good time. Let's talk about the credits real quick for Martian Massacre. This film is, again, like I said, for the first time directed and also written by Morgan Thompson Millam, starring Millam as well as Jill, starring Toby as Ginger, Joey Mann as Bill, and Tim Hale as Jack. And I will keep this spoiler-free since the movie is not officially released yet. I imagine that since it just got done, it's probably going to be going to festivals. So if you get a chance to check out Martian Massacre in a festival in your area, I would recommend that you do so. But basically, these four friends, Jill, Ginger, Bill, and Jack, decide to go on Halloween night. They go to an Airbnb because the ladies, I guess the four of them in general, want to check out, kind of connect with ghosts, kind of do some kind of summoning of spirits. There has been a local legend in the area about aliens taking over and inhabiting bodies, so they kind of want to follow the terror and kind of connect with ghosts, see what's going on with the aliens. So they're going off to party and hang out and see what they can find in this Airbnb. That's essentially the most spoiler-free review that I can give without giving anything big away. But I want to talk about a few things that stood out to me in this movie. Number one, I wrote down, and this is going to sound like a strange opening note, but for a reviewer, it makes a lot of sense. Sound and score. As an indie director myself who's worked on a lot of smaller sets for other companies and for my own company, good sound is very hard to find on indie film sets. I think, in my opinion, of all the elements that go into indie horror and low budget to no budget horror, like a lot of us do, finding good sound, clean sound, where you can get all the dialogue and nothing feels over reverberated, everything feels leveled properly. That is rare in indie horror films, and this one was really, really well leveled. Everything sounded clear. It wasn't overly leveled. It wasn't kind of bouncing off the walls or echoey. I didn't lose any dialogue in this. I was able to hear everything directly very, very well, and everything just sounded clean and fresh. So major props to the sound team and the edit team to get that sound right, because in indie horror, that dialogue's super important, and often in enclosed spaces and people's personal spaces, the sound isn't always the best. So I really applaud the sound here. In the score, there was a lot of undertone bubbling sound in this. You had a lot of there wasn't a lot of overt scores. You didn't have a lot of Halloween style scores. What you did have a lot of was the kind of the low guttural, just the buzzing underneath sound to let you know something ominous was coming. They used that sound cue quite frequently in this, and it was done with a lot of success. I really enjoyed. And again, when they used the sound, it didn't overpower the dialogue. It wasn't super loud and kind of taking you out of the moment. It was done at just the right tone where you know something is coming, the tension is going to ratchet up. And it does a nice job being an accent piece to what's going on in the scene. So not only is the sound really clean, but the score is simple and used very effectively. So I really admired that in this movie. Another technical note that I wanted to make on this was I really enjoyed the edit of it. Again, a lot of times with low to no budget, you get a lot of really staunch jump cuts. You get a lot of things people are trying to cut in really tight to cut out certain things, whether it's bad takes, whether it's reflections, whether it's seeing something in a mirror, whatever it is, you get a choppy edit. And in this case, I thought the edit was very smooth. I apologize for not writing down the editor's name on this, but I feel like this edit in general, and even at times whenever they would do a quick cut where something would go really fast, or even would seem like it would cut out like an entrance or something, everything felt really sharp and close together. Every single shot they used felt cohesive, even whenever it wasn't necessarily a linear shot, if that makes any sense. Sometimes whenever you try to cut like an entrance out, or you're trying to hide something because you're going into a gore effect, or you're trying to connect two gore effects, the edit can be very jumpy on those things, and this edit was incredibly smooth. Everything felt like it fit, even whenever certain frames were missing in it. So it was a very cohesive edit, which I really appreciated. Horror homages, I wrote down. I love when horror fans do horror movies, like horror for the fans, by the fans. I love that. I know that Morrigan's a horror fan. I've seen a couple of these names, like Tim Hale, before as well, and I know they're horror fans. So I just really enjoyed seeing all of the homages. There was a Sam Trick or Treat door hanger, one of those door covers that I enjoyed. There was the Killer Clowns from Outer Space things hanging on the wall. There was a really cool pumpkin with like overalls on the couch as like the farmer pumpkin, which I'd never seen before. That was really cool. You could tell that genuine horror fans lived in this place and decorated with homages to classic horror in mind, which I will never get sick of seeing. It gives the movie replay value for horror fans, people that, if you're just watching the movie for your friends, it gives you a chance to go back and look in the backgrounds and try to find other Easter eggs and other cool things that, big budget horror films don't allow you to have in there because they're trademarked. The benefit of being an indie horror is you can kind of slip the things that you love in there and infuse more of your personality in there. So it gives hardcore horror fans something to go back and look around in the backgrounds and try and find cool little Easter eggs. So I really enjoyed that also. The gore in this was really good. I like the gore in this a lot. I will talk about favorite kill in a minute, but I thought that all the gore, the blood looked really well colored. All the abrasions they did were really good. I'm not going to spoil anything about who gets killed or directly how and stuff like that, but there were some really good connective kills here that were done. A couple of times you had characters with some pretty cool, like some silly lines, like some punchlines, like a Freddy Krueger would give, which I enjoyed. But I thought that all the gore looked really good. It looked cohesive, and it looked like they took a lot of time to make those effects look right. And you saw that they would shoot around things to make it look cohesive. And again, the edit was smooth. But they took their time to put multiple shots together so they could show you the gore up close and personal, because they knew that it was good. A lot of times with gore, you either don't have the budget for it, so you're cutting around it and cutting away from the gore, or you're trying to kind of cut around stuff because you're afraid that if you get too close, it's going to expose something. This movie embraced the gore and wanted to show you the gore because that's the kind of movie it is. It is very much that slasher kind of movie, and it embraces those things, and it does so very well, in my opinion. Then we had the creature. I enjoyed the creature. I don't quite know what to make of what exactly it was, but they shot it quite cohesively. You saw some long shots of this creature. It's fun. It's a really fun creature. It's not going to be like an overly menacing thing, but it also is too creepy to be entirely comedic. So it has kind of some bits of like, some trauma films, some stuff like The Brain, some stuff like Street Trash. You have kind of a little bit of comedy infused in, but not so much that it's going to take you out of the horror. And this creature is pretty big. They must have, again, spent time on this. I really applaud the efforts because this creature is pretty huge. Millam's range. I don't like to single out one actor over others, especially when it's one that I know. Like, I don't know Morrigan personally, but we've had conversations and I've covered her work before because I enjoy her work. But Millam's range is nice here because you get to see something that happens, and I won't spoil it, but you get to see kind of a regular version of Jill's character, and you get to see Jill go through something and then have to act differently. And when she does that, she does it with a nice change. You see a difference between the regular kind of fun final girl type character into the bad version of this character, so to speak, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was good, and I thought some of the visual effects on that were also really cool. You saw not only a change in Morrigan's dialogue and delivery, kind of a slow, almost American Psycho-ish, almost a little bit of the Christian Bale in American Psycho, the more deliberate delivery, and then some of the overtly comedic, some of the like. And I'm trying to do this without spoiling anything, but some things that were meant to be kind of over the top and over describatory, like a Sheldon Cooper almost. So that's a lot of different amalgams of characters that I just threw at you, but I think it's done in a really fun way. I really enjoy the difference in regular Morgan's character versus the one that has to do some different things. When I'm talking favorite kill here, in my opinion, my favorite kill, somebody gets, how do I even explain this? Somebody gets entirely upended. You see a full-on sodomy, I guess you would call it. I hope I don't get punished for that word on YouTube. But you get kind of a full sodomizing. You see a couple of times in this movie you get homages to or kind of alluding to penetrations in this movie, and they don't really shy away from showing that either, which again, as a horror fan, I really admire. So that kill really stood out to me. There's a bedroom kill that you guys will want to watch. So again, that is Martian Girl Massacre. It is 15 minutes. It is a very clean cut. If you guys want to see, and this is cool because it's both horror and sci-fi, so it kind of has that like thing from another world, or there's so many different, like there's 50s and 60s sci-fi creature features, Creature from the Black Lagoon that I'm wearing right now. You get kind of a combination of that mixed with like the 80s slashers. You get kind of the smart mouth Freddy Krueger kind of character that's going around slashing people, mixed with those 50s and 60s black and white, first to color kind of creature feature. So you get a horror sci-fi combination on that. So if you would like to see a fun, quick slasher sci-fi combination, I think you'll really enjoy this one. If Martian Girl Massacre is in your area, I would recommend it. If you're a reviewer, I would recommend you checking this out and reviewing it on your sites or your channels. We need more local horror getting more coverage. We need more shorts getting more coverage. We need more first-time directors getting more coverage. We need more women directors getting more coverage. More diversity, more opportunity. Let's support that and push that forward. So I recommend Martian Girl Massacre. And whenever it comes out, I will be sure to post that where you can watch it, both in streaming and in festivals on my channel. So come back and check those out. I will see you guys soon. Artists, keep making art. It's super important. Take care, my friends.